And again, it's been an interesting weekend for sure. We lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as many of you know, on Friday night. She is, for many of us that believe in powerful women and women accomplishing a lot of things, we lost an icon. We lost somebody that many of us admire and respect and really look up to. So she left her legacy, and she left so many great sayings, all for us to remember and keep in our heads. So I wanted to open up today's Sunday Night Live with a saying from Justice Ginsburg, which I think is so appropriate for our times. And here it is. It's talking about dissents, people that think, dissenters, people that think outside the box, have a different perspective, and really are hoping, sorry about that, guys, and really are hoping to accomplish things that and move us forward rather than keep us behind. So here's her comment on dissenters. Dissents speak to a future age. It's not simply to say, my colleagues are wrong and I would do it this way, but the greatest dissents do become court opinions, and gradually over time, their views become the dominant view. So that's the dissenters' hope, that they are writing not for today, before tomorrow. So here's my challenge and my question to all of you watching and listening as we continue to navigate multiple pandemics. We have the COVID pandemic, the racial pandemic here, or epidemic here in America, and so many other things in between, fires and floods, and so many just day-to-day hardships that people are suffering everywhere around the globe. I think I read as well that Europe is having a second surge. So what do we do in a situation like this? We've got to force ourselves to think outside the box. What would we do differently? What is sort of our calling? What is our purpose in times and situations like these? How have you done something that's outside the box or thought differently? Well, I feel like I do that every single day with the work I do and the questions that I ask, and I'll continue to do that because I do believe we need to talk about healthcare differently. We need to move the needle forward. We need to understand what really defines someone as being healthy or unhealthy, and stop this mill of prescription medications and quick visits and really not having a conversation about what healthy means. Hello there in Buffalo. I see that you guys are joining us. And this is always fun, by the way. If you are joining me from somewhere around the world, jump on in and let me know where you're from. I always find it so much fun to figure out where our community is and where everyone is. So again, so that's my challenge for you guys as you go into the week ahead. How are you challenging yourself? How are you challenging the way you think? And what is it that you're hoping to leave, not for today, but for tomorrow? Because again, that is the legacy of Justice Ginsburg. All right, moving on to Dr. Taz World and everything going on. You know, we always have a lot of fun stuff happening just for you. Let's talk about what's on the plate. We did our thyroid webinar just last week on Tuesday. I don't know if any of you joined me for that and really got some value out of that. Now remember, if you join the Taz Tribe, we're delivering these webinars and links directly into your inbox. So join the tribe if you haven't already. I'll post a link on Facebook, and there's already a link there in the bio on Instagram. But I'd love for you to be a part of the tribe. We're going to continue to deliver out webinars, guides, and then ultimately redo our weight loss course and have that Jumpstart program starting all over again, especially before we go into the holidays, and then also get our Superwoman Wellness Retreat going. So hopefully you guys are excited about all of that stuff. So let's get you in. Let's get you into the tribe so we can create an awesome community of empowered women and men to really push us forward, to really create a different tomorrow and not just be focused on today. All right, let's get into the headlines. I know. Hello. Hi, Sid. How are you? Where are you from? You're going to have to tell me where. Texas, New York, Rhode Island. We have somebody from Cape Town, South Africa. Thank you guys all for joining on the Sunday afternoon. I don't know what time it is where you are, but thank you so much. All right, let's talk about the numbers. We've had so much going on with COVID. Let's talk about the numbers and where they stand today. In the United States, 6.7 million cases, 198,000 deaths. It's keeping us at about 3% in terms of mortality. That is higher than the flu. And there's a lot of debate on what we're going to do about it, because we know, and this is really important, we know that if you guys are going to get out there and mingle and schools are going to reopen, which they should, then we know the cases are going to go up. The question is, who is it that we should be the most concerned about? And there's lots of debate on that and lots of concern there. But here's the other concern. The flu virus is already beginning to show its face. And so we're talking a lot about the twindemic of the flu and coronavirus and how you're going to protect yourself moving forward. Well, we've got a flu vaccine, but as we talked about last week, the vaccine effectiveness historically has been between 19 and 60%. So I'm not saying that you don't do a flu vaccine, but I'm saying it's not going to be enough. And in this particular season, you want to be thinking about everything you can do to protect and preserve your immune function. So keep that in mind. That means I want you to continue to follow what we're talking about with immune support, having the right diet for you, really getting in the gut support that you need, getting in consistent rest, and then also sleeping through the night, making sure you're getting nice, consistent sleep, managing your stress, managing your self-care. For those of you that are on Instagram with me, you know I just posted a few minutes ago that my weekend has been a little chaotic, but again, that self-care part of it is an important part of helping us handle the punches as they come and not bebopping and just completely collapsing. So again, self-care matters and is connected to your immune function. So really important to protect the immune system. If you want to learn more, download my guide, Support Your Immune System. I'll provide that link as well, or you can go to drtaz.com, go to learn, and you'll see all the different guides there. This last few weeks, we've also been talking about PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, a hidden epidemic in women connected to thyroid dysfunction for sure, and that connection often missed by conventional physicians. So I want you, any woman out there, I think this is a disease for all women of all ages. It's not just for women at 20s, as many people sometimes think, but it's really something that's affecting everybody. So download my PCOS guide. We've talked a lot about that there. And then we have a webinar too on PCOS and the thyroid if you want more information. All right, going back into the world of COVID, let's review the headlines. There's been a lot in the news, a lot of controversy, and some headlines that you may have seen. COVID does seem to affect men more so than women. And we're going to in the immune system. So all of you guys out there, take care of yourself. Really watch your immune system. Clean up those diets. Really, really take care of your digestive health. Start something like the Defender. It has astragalus, zinc, and vitamin C in it to protect you so that if you do get exposed, you keep that viral load very low and very minimal. So keep that in mind as well. Men more vulnerable than women when it comes to COVID. And then a lot of debate over this debate we have with COVID-19. So look, bottom line, I don't care where you are or who you are, face masks matter. They do seem to make a difference. No matter what research we look at, no matter what study we look at, we're seeing how face masks really do make a difference. Now, in the middle of the week, we had some debate whether masks would be better than a vaccine. Possibly, because remember, this is a respiratory virus. But at the end of the day, we need a couple of things to happen for us to get back to normal. We need to see herd immunity where the overall caseload or exposure to COVID starts to go down. So that means all of us have been exposed and we have some level of immunity to that. That's the race for the vaccine. But you don't want a vaccine that doesn't work well or has a lot of side effects. And that's been historically a problem in the past. You want them to take their time with the vaccine. So what do you do in the interim? Stay home, stay locked indoors? Absolutely not. You need to learn to protect your immune system, beef it up so that you can live life. And face masks and hand washing are here to stay, guys. They're here to stay at least for the near future. Now, speaking of face masks, here's a study from the University of Illinois talking about how most homemade masks are doing a really great job. And that is awesome news. We've heard that you needed this cloth or that cloth and this ply and that ply, but really they're showing that most homemade masks help combat the spread of the virus when combined with frequent hand washing. And because a respiratory particle travels a certain amount for it to be contagious. So keep that in mind. Face masks are critical in this fight against COVID. I found that this little sentence here was helpful too, because again, that debate about which type of fabric do I use? What do I do? What do I use? So we found that of all fabrics tested are considerably effective at blocking the 100 nanometer particles carried by high velocity droplets, they're talking about the virus, similar to those that may be released by speaking, coughing, sneezing, even with a single layer. So even if you have something on here, it's better than not having anything. with 2 or 3 layers. Even the more permeable fabrics like t-shirt cloth achieve droplet blocking efficiency that's similar to that of a medical mask, and while still maintaining comparable or better breathability. All right, so face masks matter. Let's continue to wear them. Let's continue to support one another and not fight that in particular. Ideally, a 2-cloth, ideally cotton. But again, as we've seen in this particular study, any type of face mask is considered helpful because it's that transmission of respiratory droplets that we're trying to prevent. Now, it's not all that bad. I know we don't get, and I have my little niece and nephew here too, and they're used to wearing a face mask and they're rolling with it. And I know we don't like it, but think about it too, like going out to a restaurant, if they're all wearing face masks now, we worry less about other viruses, right? Getting transmitted. Well, face mask here to stay. Moving on to 2 other studies that I think are really important because I've seen this play out in practice, and I know so many of you are struggling with this. So one of the things that I see happening a lot of, by the way, is that many people are starting to have a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. We've talked about this before. And some of this is connected to media consumption. How many of you are staying home and you've got something playing in the background over and over again, 24/7, and you're hearing about every update and every news break and everything else? We've got to shut that off. Really have parameters, I'm trying to combine 2 words there, really have parameters around your media consumption, because these studies, both of them, one from the American Association for the Advancement of Science and one from the University of California at Irvine, are finding that rising stress and depression, especially here in the United States, is linked to the amount of media you're consuming. So it's really important to have some limits there, and that in turn dials the volume down, dials the stress down. And that's why what we watch and listen to matters so much. I actually think that the divisive nature of the media currently is leading to a lot of friction within our society and within our country. We lack a unifying voice, whether it's a leadership voice, whether it's a media voice. We're not getting that unifying voice to bring us all together. Rather, we're getting a lot of conflict and debate and leaving everybody super anxious and not really sure of what's next. And that's not really a great place to be in, right? Okay, let's do one more headline, or maybe 2 more headlines. I think they're both important. Scientists are predicting that COVID-19 will be a seasonal virus, but not quite yet. So a seasonal virus meaning it'll be like the cold or the flu, where it keeps rotating and switching up. And that in turn, and we'll just get used to it. We'll be like, okay, it's COVID season, just like it's flu season or cold season. But it's going to take some time to get there because more people would have to be exposed. And we've seen this with other viruses, that they get introduced, and then after about a year or 2, they just kind of go into the circulation of what everybody else gets exposed to. So again, while we're waiting for other options, treatment options, vaccines, that type of thing, we have to be paying attention to our immune system. Again, in my immune support guide, I talked so much about what you can do, everything from eating the right diet for you, watching your digestive health, which houses 75% of your immune system, and on top of that, taking things to supplement your overall immune health and your health in general, including things like probiotics, astragalus, which is one of my favorite antiviral herbs, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D. Even Dr. Fauci apparently is taking vitamin D and vitamin C, and that gets very little coverage. But it's really important to remember that all this stuff matters. Okay, so taking care of your immune system, because COVID is here to stay. So for anyone who's out there watching every headlines, watching every headline, watching every media headline, thinking that this is going to go away. I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's here to stay. I think it's going to be our body's response to it that's going to make a difference, right? And our behavior that's going to make a difference. All right, so that is my 2 cents on the immune system. We've got a couple of questions here that I'm going to go ahead and take. Let's see. Have you seen cases of smelling of smoke after COVID infection where taste and smell are lost only temporarily? Yes. So it does sort of alter taste and smell. And whether it's smoke, I've had other people describe like a burnt smell or like a gasoline smell. And I think it's just affecting sort of the taste and smell sensations in some way. We don't know exactly how. But yes, I have seen that before. And what I've seen in the patients that actually get COVID, where it's more than just a cold, or where it's more than just they don't even realize they have it, but they actually get sick with it. We've had a few of those as well. It's taking some time. What COVID can do, which many other viruses can do, it can mount an autoimmune response and create what we call CIRS, which is chronic inflammatory response syndrome, which is where the body starts reacting against itself, essentially triggering an autoimmune type phenomenon. So patients will have trouble breathing for a while. They'll get fatigued really easily. All of that stuff can affect them. Are you guys having trouble seeing the video? Uh-oh. What's going on? Sorry, guys. All right, we'll figure out what's happening there. Can you hear me on Instagram? Can you guys hear me okay? Maybe somebody shoot me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I don't know why the video is not working there. I think we're doing okay over here on Facebook. Maybe something happened with our connection. Okay, well, I'm almost done. And if you guys have any, feel free to post them. I'm not sure why the video is not working well here. We'll look into that. Last study, the immune system is also involved in depression. Are having more mental issues, remember there's an immune component. Okay, thank you guys. I was trying to make sure it's working. There's an immune connection to depression. So this is what I want to read to you guys. Again, this is from Yale. In essence, the immune system in the brains of all people is poised to make an inflammatory immune response and may have another function other than just defending viruses. Okay, so it's also important to understand that T cells, we've talked about immunity, is the arm of the immune system that we control a little bit. We can reboot based on how we eat, how we sleep, how we live our lives, what we're taking, all that other stuff. And so that T cell arm plays a role in mental health. There's the connection again between our food, how we live, how we eat, and then anxiety and depression. And guys, that's your power, right? That's how you make decisions, how you choose a job or a partner or whatever it is that you want to do next. And think about the decisions you're making when all that's lined up and not quite where it needs to be. You're doing yourself a disservice when we're not paying attention to all of that. So own your health and own who you are. And that's why I keep kind of hammering that message that it's important for each of you to know the recipe for you, to know what your ingredients are to make you incredible and powerful and special. And that's your Power RX. And it really involves putting your diet, your gut health, your hormone health, your stressors, all in this proper context, getting the right relationship, bringing them all together into this magic that's ultimately you and enables you to go back to where I started, to be the center. It's not for today, but for tomorrow. So people look back and know that you did the work that you were meant to do. All right, so that's the last of my studies. I've shared my thoughts about your immune system. I want you guys prepped before we hit a twindemic. So really download my immune support guide or take the Defender. And really protect. October is usually where I see this shift. You know, so we still have a few weeks. Really want you to protect yourself before we go into full out flu and cold and COVID, and keep yourselves healthy. It is possible. It can be done. And I think the lesson from this week's headlines is really watch the amount of media concern. It's so tied to mental health, and we're already on this like precipice, so to speak, of jumping off the cliff when it comes to our mental health. So we want to pull back from that and only listen to messages that are positive, informative, hopeful, give you kind of a roadmap, help you with what to do, but not one that send us like on this like merry-go-round of negativity and darkness and division. I think that's the last thing any of us need to see. So join the tribe. I'm on every Wednesday night on the private Facebook group. Also, if you join the tribe, remember in your email box, you'll get guides and downloads right there, so you don't have to keep entering them over and over again. And we're going to continue to build that community and do incredible things together. I'm so excited about that. And I'll end with a quote, the way I began: follow your dreams. They know the way. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Enjoy it. No Sunday scaries. And remember to stay healthy, stay well, stay superpowered. And I will see you guys soon.